Hey folks, it's Echo here. This is going to be a little different of a video. I'm used to trying to speak as fast as I can and get you as much information jammed into a small amount of time so that you can move on with your day with some updated information on 7 Days to Die for Alpha 20 or for tutorials or how to build a base or something like that. My focus has been getting everything to you fast. So now I just want to slow down for a moment and say thank you for everyone who's watched, who's subbed, who's commented, who's encouraged me along this path. I sincerely appreciate it. I want to share a little bit about my journey and do it through the lens of data because that's one of the things that I geek out about. But if you take a look here, we're inside of YouTube Studio. The top row here is when people subscribed, and the bottom row here is when I dropped videos on YouTube. So you can tell I went through this period from when I started on February 26th all the way until June. I dropped about 12 videos, and I think I gained a total of 25 subs, 15 of which were friends of mine. So this was the dark period. This is the challenging period that many YouTubers go through, where you're just throwing your creativity out into the air and hoping that something catches and not knowing what's working and what's really not. So then I came to this period of saying, you know what, I held off on putting anything out on Alpha 20 because lots of people have done it. But then I said, let's just give it a go. So I went through and I dug up everything, like all the old dev streams. I read every single page of the dev diary. I went through Twitter. I went through everything that the fun pimps wrote, and I put together this first video here that really started to make a dent. So this was the Alpha 20 and beyond video, and you can see how much this one spiked. So this is when I really caught traction. And so from there, I got some momentum and started to pick up people. And I guess you shared some of the content with others. And you can see then I hit a doldrum here where this period, I just couldn't produce as much content. And then the dev stream started, and that's when all these spikes started happening. And I cleared that 1,000 mark. So that's in a nutshell kind of how I see things on my end. I'm constantly looking to figure out what's working with you all and what you like and what you don't like, and trying to shift and just taking ownership where things aren't working. But you can tell Alpha 20 videos are the ones here that have largely been popular. Down from there, the other videos after that are the Horde Base series. The 13-minute Horde Base has been pretty popular. And then on the bottom is the Broken Shard series, which I personally love. And I'll look forward to telling you a little bit about the editing process later. So just to look at some of the other statistics here, because I really do enjoy some of this. Where's everybody coming from? So most folks are here in the US, and then we've got Germany, UK, Canada, and Australia right up at the top. And then you just have this plethora of other places that people are watching your content. And I genuinely enjoy looking and seeing all the different places who are consuming this. So from an age perspective, yeah, you know, whereas a lot of games have that younger 18 to 24 demographic, the 25 to 34 seems to dominate here within 7 days. I've seen that, and I think most other YouTubers who do 7 Days to Die content. So, yep, this seems to be pretty typical of the blend that we see. From a male female, also, you know, 5%, just a little over 5% to 94 on the male side. This is one that I'd love to work on. So for you ladies out there, if there's anything that I can do as a content creator to be more welcoming and open, please let me know in the comments. So I would love to balance that out a little bit more, because I believe communities thrive when you've got a good blend. Let's see, anything else? I think that's it for stats. I think we're going to dive into some of the editing process and how this all works. So that Alpha 20 video taught me a ton about the editing process and what worked and what didn't. And so that led me to a number of different things. I started doing the 13-minute Horde Base after that. And I also started covering the dev streams, which was, you know, largely popular with all of you. And that's a crazy process, and I'll use this to kind of jump over into the editing. So those dev streams, they would end at about 11 o'clock, 11:30 my time. And once the actual dev stream was over, I would go ahead and pull down that Twitch stream and then set it up in DaVinci Resolve to render optimized media, because that just helps a lot from a speed perspective once I'm in the editing process. So that 3-hour chunk to optimize takes a good 45 minutes. So I wouldn't sit down to actually start editing until, 12:15. And so from there, I would start chopping the video up and saying, as I was watching it, I was taking notes, and I would go to specific points where I was like, okay, this is something that the viewers are going to want to understand. And if you've played, you're going to want to know this. So I chop all that up into segments and have all my clips broken apart. And I would start pulling in graphics. And so I would say around 3 in the morning or so, I'd have everything chopped up and vaguely reordered. And then I start splicing everything together, and I start doing voiceover. So by about 5 or 6 in the morning, I've finished most of that. And then it gets into the polishing aspect. So from 6 until 7 or 8 in the morning, I would be going through and doing sound editing. I would be making the thumbnails to put up on YouTube and all that. So for the past 6 or 7 weeks, every Wednesday night is an all-nighter, and it has been crazy getting it out to you guys. But I think it's been appreciated. I think you guys have enjoyed those videos. Having to edit under fast timetables like that has been good for me learning how to work more efficiently. I have to do a bunch of prep work so that, ideally I've got the music picked out and I've got some templates in place before I even start. So that's the process that I've been doing for the dev streams. So if you notice mistakes in them, there's a reason, because come 6, 7, 8 in the morning when I haven't slept, it's a little crazy. So that's the process of doing those. The 13-minute horde bases for context, those typically take me about 20 hours to produce. I'll easily spend between 10 or 12 hours actually just building out that horde base, testing it, seeing how the horde reacts to it, and then tweaking it until I'm happy enough to put it out there. Because I really don't want to give you guys a horde base that I'm unhappy with, that I wouldn't personally use. I know I give them rankings, but I still am kind of looking at those relative to other horde bases that I've built to say, here's the flaws, here's the positives, because each of them are going to have their strengths and weaknesses. So that process, like I said, probably about 12 hours of research, testing, and then 8 hours of recording the video and ordering things in a logical fashion so that I can give you the horde fight so you can see how the base operates, as well as the build tutorials that go with it. So that brings me to the last series, the Broken Shard series that I've been doing, which is a combo layered story of 7 Days to Die plus an external story of what's happening outside of the game world. Has been one of the most difficult and challenging, but also personally rewarding pieces of work that I've been doing. So I've done 6 episodes thus far, and it blends in images from the exterior world and with 7 Days to Die to tell a story. And the editing process is very intense, because essentially I've got a save game that I start, I play through a day, and then if I like the day, I keep it. If not, I scrap it and I redo the day, because I'm honestly looking for a day that's going to be interesting and fun for you to watch. Additionally, I do all the voice work after the fact. So I record the episode, and then I already had notes from a both story arc perspective as well as an in-gameplay perspective of what I wanted to accomplish during the day. And I need those to line up and be interesting. And the most fun part about it for me is that as I'm playing through, you don't know what's going to happen when you're going through the game. And so you've got a concept in your head of the story, but sometimes the gameplay dictates the story. So you go through and something crazy happens and you're like, we're going to flip this around and change what happened. We'll still get the core bits of the story arc that we want to get. So that's been a ton of fun, a ton of work. Each of those episodes is easily 20 plus hours to produce. So that's why I haven't produced those and cranked those out as fast as like a typical Let's Play, for example. So that covers kind of the editing process of how I've been doing all this. So this brings me to the overall influencers and whatnot. When I started producing these 7 Days to Die videos, the examples that I've had from the past have been probably the same as many of you. I've watched a ton of Capo and I've watched a ton of Jawoodle. Those were my two go-tos for tutorials and whatnot on how to build things. And, you know, I always enjoyed Jawoodle's bombastic descriptions of things. And I always enjoyed Capo's good in-depth views of, you know, how you did the, you know, mechanical bits within 7 Days to Die. And so those were my initial inputs into this. And then when I started getting into the Let's Play concept, I actually took from some of the newer artists out there. Guns, Nerds, and Steel was a huge influencer for me when I started looking at how to do cinematic takes. And then I would say also a lot of feedback from the editing perspective I pulled from outside of the 7 Days realm, and that would be Harris Heller and Sam Woodhall and Epos Fox. And then completely outside the gaming realm, I pulled from Catherine Manning, who had good insight into just the YouTube process. So that's some of my influencers as I was going through this process. This brings me to what's coming next. This one, I'm gonna get a little bit more energy on because I'm actually really excited about this. So first things, I spent this whole weekend working on putting together a Discord server. So that's in pretty good shape. So if you check down below in the video details and whatnot, and then I'll have a comment pinned at the top that will have the link to the new Discord server. Additionally, I've been working on a 7 Days to Die server. Now that one's going to take a little bit longer because I want to get feedback from all the folks who hop in the Discord channel on what type of settings we want for that. But I am going to do a custom map. I think it's going to be a while before we get to A20 on that server. So for right now, we're going to keep it at A19 until we stabilize. But that server is going to become important for some of the other activities that I got coming up. So number one, I'm going to add streaming on. So I've been working all my overlays and whatnot. So I will be streaming on YouTube probably just once a week. When I get to telling you a little bit about myself, I'll explain why there's only so much that I can do in the course of a week. So streaming and the server are also going to tie to one other big activity, November 6th. This is huge for me. So every year, my family all engages in an amazing charity that if you're not familiar with, you should be. It's called Extra Life, and it's an incredible experience. So the charity is focused around raising money for Children's Miracle Networks, which is helping kids who don't have the funds to get the health care that they need. And it's just incredible. It's a way of the gaming community to give back. So I'm going to be taking that 7 Days to Die server, and all of you who want to jump in there and have fun and build, I'll be doing a 24-hour stream on November 6th. And the first half of the stream, I start at 9 a.m. Central Time. The first 9 hours, I'll do variety type stuff. I'll be doing some Splitgate and some Rocket League and some Minecraft. I've actually got a dual stream set up with my 6-year-old daughter, where we'll do Minecraft together, and then I will be doing Splitgate probably with my older daughter, and it's just going to be tons of fun. So the last half, probably the last 14 hours, I'm going to do 7 Days to Die straight, because I'd like to get into Horde Nights before I'm done. And for that, I'd love to have all of you come and join me on that server, on that journey to help raise money for kids. Just an amazing experience. So that's some of the next things that I have coming up. And then the last one, this is just amazing. This has been like the cherry on the top. Pixel Life Gaming reached out to me, and if you don't know him, he's an awesome content creator for 7 Days to Die. His links are all down below. But he reached out and said, hey, we've been doing this server thing with a bunch of content creators called Totally Not Prepared, and we're looking for Alpha 20 to do a season 2, and we want to add a bunch of content creators. And so these are all folks who are much bigger than I am and more experienced and whatnot. So I'm really excited to work with them. and see what kind of crazy shenanigans we can get into. So I just want to name off the folks who are going to be engaged in this, and I'll link them in their YouTube channels below because they're all fantastic creators. So this group includes an amazing roster of content creators. In addition to Pixel Life, who I already referenced, there's Temreki from Guns, Nerds, and Steel. There's Is Pre-Built. There's Nerdlit Gaming with Laney. We've got Primate, Not a Gamer Gaming with Daffy and Gnosis. We've got Ryazun. We've got Whisker Biscuit Gaming with Captain and Ninja. Kraken, More to Me for Life, Spange, Jimmy Bo 1000, and TBF Gaming. So 16 of us total, including myself. This is going to just be an outstanding, colossal train wreck, but it'll be a beautiful train wreck. I think right now our target is looking at, probably 2022, because it's going to be around the period that we hit the stable version of Alpha 20. But if that comes earlier, then it might come earlier. But that's one of the big things I'm looking forward to moving forward. So just to share a little bit about myself and why this YouTube thing kind of fits for me. So I'm in my mid 40s, which makes me sometimes feel like the oldest person on YouTube at times. And I don't know all this fandangled new stuff, and I'm telling kids to get off my lawn and shit like that. But I've got a background in photography as a hobby, and I've got a degree in writing. And then I also used to design radio studios for a living, so I've got some sound background and whatnot there. And then I've got about 20 years plus in LARPing, both on the playing itself, as well as the writing and the story arc design and whatnot. So those have all contributed into and really fit well into doing this whole YouTube thing, which has been awesome. So in terms of, outside of all that crazy stuff, I also have a family. I've got 3 kids. I've got 2 dogs, which I'll show you running around here. I've got a 180-pound wolfhound and then a little 60-pound golden retriever, which, little for me because we've got a 180-pound dog. 60-pound dog seems really damn small. So I live in the Midwest, and I work in the IT sector dealing with healthcare and AI and stuff like that, doing some really amazing, incredible stuff. But if I had my druthers, this is the place I love. I love gaming. I love the community here. And I've had a vision that I've talked about with my wife for a while, that I've got a 10-year roadmap where I'd like to transition into the nonprofit realm and be able to combine gaming and some awesome charitable work that can be done. I love Extra Life right now. It's the charity that I'm most involved with, as I mentioned earlier. But I've got my own vision that this, I hope, is the start of that vision. If you've made it this far, I'm just going to give you one more thanks for the day, as well as give shout out to a few people. My wife, who's been incredibly encouraging, my friends and family, GNS Not Your Parents, Britt Naldo, amazing streaming couple. I'm going to put their links down below. Go check them out over on Twitch if you need a chill place to stay. But otherwise, hop in the Discord server and hang out with me. Look for that 7 Days to Die server. November 6th, join me for Extra Life to raise money for children in need. It's going to be an amazing time. Thank you, thank you, thank you. This has been incredible, and Eko's out. Take care.